Hey everyone, so let's talk about a Ford error code that can be a real pain. B10D787. It sounds super technical, I know, but stick with me. By the end of this, you'll know exactly what's going on and, more importantly, how to fix it.
So you're just driving along, minding your own business, and bam, this weird, cryptic code pops up on your dashboard. If you're like most people, your first thought is probably, what on earth does that even mean? You're definitely not alone.
But here's the good news, and I want you to take a deep breath on this one. While this error is super annoying, the fix is often way, way simpler than you might think. We're going to walk through everything, step by step, to get this sorted out.
Okay, first things first. What is this code? Well, the official name is Pat's Key Missing Message. All that really means in plain English is that some part of your car was expecting to get a message from another part and it just never showed up. It's basically a communication breakdown.
The easiest way to think about it is like a dropped phone call. You've got these two little computers in your car that need to talk to each other to get things done. But for some reason, the connection failed. The line went dead. And that's what triggers this error code.
So why is this phone call getting dropped in the first place? Well, it almost always comes down to one of four common culprits. Let's do a little detective work and look at the usual suspects.
And here they are. This is basically our cheat sheet for this whole problem. On the left, you've got the potential cause, and right next to it, the solution. We're going to tackle these logically, starting with the easiest, simplest fixes first. All right, time to get our hands dirty, metaphorically speaking. Let's get into the actual step-by-step guide. Now, the key here, and I really mean this, is to do these in order. It could save you a whole lot of time, frustration, and, frankly, money. First stop on our troubleshooting train is the repetition time. This is probably the single most common reason you're seeing that B10D787 code. And luckily, it's a pretty easy thing to check and fix. So, what is repetition time? It's just the pause between messages being sent. If that pause is set for too long, the component that's waiting for the message kind of gives up. It times out. So, the fix is to go into the settings and shorten that pause so the conversation flows smoothly. Okay, what if you've adjusted the time, but the code is still there? Well, our next suspect is something called an unforeseen reset event. This sounds dramatic, but it can be caused by something as simple as changing your battery or a random power fluctuation. When one of those resets happens, the system settings can get all scrambled and go back to some default that doesn't work for your car. So the solution is to just go in and reconfigure everything back to the way it should be. This usually gets everyone talking again. Still seeing that code? Don't worry, we've got another trick up our sleeve. Our third possibility is an excessive data load. Yep, just like your home internet, your car's network can get bogged down if it's trying to handle too much information at once. And when the network gets overloaded, messages get dropped, which brings us right back to our missing message error. The fix here is to basically lighten the load, either by trimming out some non-essential data or just adjusting the limits so the system can handle it all. Okay, so if you've tried all three of those steps and that pesky code is still staring you in the face, it's time to consider our final option. This is the last resort because we're moving out of the world of software and into the world of actual hardware. Yeah, at this point, if none of the settings adjustments worked, the problem probably isn't the settings at all. It's the physical part. The component itself has likely malfunctioned, and no amount of tweaking is going to fix a broken part. It's time for a replacement. All right, let's zoom out and put this all together into one simple, clear action plan. This is your game plan, your definitive checklist for crushing the B10D787 error code. Here it is, plain and simple. First, you adjust the time. If that doesn't work, you reconfigure the settings. Still seeing the code, you reduce the data load. And only after you have tried all three of those things, you even begin to think about replacing a component. And I can't stress this enough. You have to follow these steps in order. This is the whole point. By tackling the simple, free software fixes first, you avoid wasting your time and, more importantly, your money on a new part you might not have even needed in the first place. And there you have it. You've got the complete plan to diagnose and fix Ford code B10D787. What seemed like a confusing, frustrating problem is now just a simple checklist. You're ready for this. So the only real question left is, what's the next code you're going to be prepared to solve?